Chapter 29 Chen Donglai's Agonizing Ordeal. Chen Yuan smiled at the drone. "Imad, it very clear today only my true diehard fans will get a chance to receive my guidance. Those trying to sneak in and free ride, don't even bother. As for those bad-mouthing me, I'll add you to my blacklist too. From now on, you'll get no information from me whatsoever." The live stream chat continued to flood. "God Yuan, you're a legend. I'm willing to be your apprentice. Trash. Got a little money and now you, Ray, acting all high and mighty? Let's launch a nationwide boycott of Chen Yuan. Why are these trolls still here? Wasn't the lesson they got last time painful enough? Ha ha ha. People whose money is stuck in stocks still dare to badmouth God Yuan? Serves you right to be poor." At that moment the door opened, and Chen Donglai, looking utterly exhausted, walked out. He had spent the entire day studying in the home study. By now his back ached, his legs hurt, and he felt weak all over. To help his dad get good grades, Chen Yuan had spared no expense. He hired 2 tutors to coach his dad on the weekend, one of whom was a graduate student. As for the cost, it didn't matter. After a full day of this, Chen Donglai was miserable. Even the short break he took to get a drink felt like a struggle. Chen Yuan said impatiently, "Dad, the tutor's still waiting for you in the room. Hurry up and go back." Chen Donglai shot his son a speechless glare, then grumbled and shuffled back inside. Chen Yuan leaned against the sofa, eating a popsicle. "Every day, stay same such a handful." Chen Donglai, who was just about to close the door, nearly had a spike in blood pressure. "You little brat. Once this reality show is over, I'll take my leather belt, a common Chinese parent discipline tool, often called 7 wolves, and teach you a lesson you won't forget." He slammed the door shut. A clip of Chen Yuan checking his account balance was edited and posted on other online platforms. The headline read, "Shocking. 14-year-old prodigy achieves the small goal of 100 million yuans from zero in 8 days. The headline was eye-catching, and since most of it was true, it quickly drew more attention. The number of people in the live stream surged by 5 p.m. The online audience had reached 3.5 million. Previously, the stream had hit this number only when Chen Yuan was analyzing investments. Now most viewers were just here to gawk. His follower count rose to 900,000, but his reputation points still grew slowly. Winning people's shirts really is the hardest thing in the world. With nothing else to do, Chen Yuan leaned back on the sofa and chatted casually with his live stream fans. Why had so many people flocked here? Naturally, for Chen Yuan's uncanny predictive ability. "Great God! I came because I've heard so much about you. Can you show me your skills?" "Yeah, the World Cup final is coming soon. Predict which team will win. Please predict." Trash. If you're too scared to predict, it means you have no real talent. You just got lucky before. Chen Yuan smiled as he read the comments. "I've said this twice already starting today. All my predictions will only be shared with my true die-hard fans. As for those with bad intentions or who want to exploit this. You've come for nothing. To be honest, I'll have a big move soon, but I'm not telling you. Hee hee. The short-tempered trolls in the live stream were fuming. During his break from moving bricks, Zhang San took off his tattered gloves and pulled out his phone. Seeing Chen Yuan looking so pleased with himself on the screen made his chest feel tight. It's all this kid's fault. If it weren't for him, would my money be stuck in Penglai Games? The savings I'd worked 10 years for, money I planned to use for my marriage, was now trapped. Furious, Zhang San typed comments. Despicable coward. Stop putting on an act. If you're really capable, save Penglai Games from collapse. Garbage. If I see you in real life, I'll beat you to a pulp in minutes. I, Zhang San the outlaw, am Chen Yuan's sworn enemy. Any friends who want to join the anti-fan group, come quickly. Let's badmouth him together. After sending 3 messages in a row, Zhang San let out a heavy sigh of relief. That felt good. Suddenly, the foreman appeared out of nowhere, pointing at Zhang San and yelling, "Damn it! Do you still want your wages? Slacking off every chance you get one more time, and you're fired. Get back to moving bricks now." Zhang San was tough online but awkward in real life. When he heard the foreman roar, he didn't dare say a word. He meekly went back to work. Chen Yuan almost laughed out loud when he saw the comments. Zhang San the outlaw again. Hadn't learned his lesson from last time. He still dared to badmouth me. Fine, then I'll ruin him. In the evening, after seeing the tutor out, Chen Donglai plopped down on the sofa. This day was more tiring than working overtime. He literally felt the pressure modern students faced. Endless homework, never-ending tutoring, and even free time spent memorizing words and grammar rules. It was brutal. Chen Yuan poured his dad a cup of tea. Rest for Abbott. Teacher's song will be here soon. Chen Donglai's face fell. Son, don't you think you're going too far? Going too far? Chen Yuan was just making his dad experience what he'd once gone through. Dad, I'm doing this for your own good. Think about the 5 million yuan's prize. And think about why Mom divorced you back then. Chen Donglai froze. These days, poverty tears even loving couples apart. Earn money. Study. I must win that prize. He downed the tea in one gulp. Son Don Tori, your dad won't hold you back. I'll definitely pass the assessment. By the way, how much money have you saved up now? How much? 100 million yuans. To avoid scaring his dad, Chen Yuan smiled and said, enough to pay for your tutors and health supplements at least. That's good. I'll go back to the study to review. Call me when dinner's ready. With that, Chen Donglai stood up and headed for the study. Got it. After watching his dad go into the study, Chen Yuan took out his phone and ordered takeout. Ring ring, his phone alarm went off. Chen Yuan reached out to turn it off, then sat up. It was 6 a.m. He'd been persisting in running for his health. After a lap around the park, he got back home at 7:30 a.m., just as his dad was about to leave for school. Do you have any money left? Here's another 1,000 yuans. Chen Yuan held out the cash. Chen Donglai waved his hand. Son, you've already given me 2,000 yuans. I still have 1,900 left. Chen Yuan shrugged. As long as you race studying hard, you don't need to save money. Save money. Your old man doesn't have time to spend it. Chen Donglai took the money from Chen Yuan, stuffed it into his school bag, and stormed off in a huff. But a comment from his son behind him nearly made him trip. Whoa! Acting all rebellious now. Chen Donglai almost spat out blood. Chen Yuan went inside, took out his phone, and checked the live stream comments. Only 600,000 people were online that day. Many casual viewers had stopped tuning in, probably because they knew Chen Yuan no longer shared information publicly. Chen Yuan didn't mind. After all, most of those who left were unlikely to contribute to his reputation points. Whether they stayed or left was their choice. The live stream chat was still lively, though most messages were from people begging for predictions. Only a few asked about how to join the die-hard fan group. God Yuan, we really want to join the small group. Can you tell us how? Boss, share the group entry method. Only 600,000 people are here today. If you keep acting like this, you'll fade into obscurity soon. Yeah. So many of us are asking for a prediction. It's sus. Giving you face. Don't be ungrateful. Chen Yuan shook his head and smiled at his phone screen. Fade away? Sharing information with you endless lie is what would make me fade away for good. Chen Yuan opened his stock trading app again. Sharp-eyed netizens quickly noticed what it was. God Yuan's trading stocks again. Has God Yuan finally returned to the stock market? It looks like a stock trading app. Not looks like it is one. Welcome back to the stock market, God Yuan. Boss, which stock are you buying today? Can you hint a little? Boss, give me a chance. Take me along. Chen Yuan ignored them and directly checked Penglai Games' status. After a 4-day trading halt, Penglai Games had finally released new announcements that day. Penglai Games accused of data fraud. Company actually in severe losses. Stock price adjusted to reflect reality. Penglai Games stock plummets sharply. Penglai Games likely to be the fourth company for CI Bly delisted this year. Each announcement seemed determined to push Penglai Games into irrecoverable ruin. When Zhang San, still moving bricks, saw these announcements, his heart turned cold. His hard-earned money was truly gone this time. If Penglai Games was for CI Bly delisted, not just him, but everyone who'd invested would lose every penny. By now, Penglai Games was a toxic asset. Anyone who touched it would be destroyed. After reading Penglai Games stock news, Chen Yuan smiled. According to the system's plan, he was supposed to buy heavily once trading opened, bottom fishing at its lowest point. He just wasn't sure how much Penglai Games stock would plummet that day. Following tradition, it would probably be delisted in a few days. At 9:15 a.m., the pre-market call auction period, countless shares were listed for sale, but no one wanted to buy them. Chen Yuan was in a hurry. He just watched quietly. At 9:30 a.m. A shares officially opened. As expected, Penglai Games stock crashed to rock bottom. Its price hit a new all-time low for a shares. 0.3 yuan per share. At this price, if it stayed this low all day, it would be delisted the next day. The stock chat room was filled with cries of despair. That's all my savings. Ruined. 100,000 yuan trapped. Help. I don't want to live anymore. Damn it. I only bought this junk stock because I listened to that reality show Kid Chen Yuan. Otherwise, would I have touched this garbage? Chapter 30 From Stock Trader to Major Shareholder. Chen Yuan felt innocent. After all, he had only told Zhang San the outlaw to buy Penglai Games stock. It was Zhang San who had posted screenshots and tricked many people into following suit. This had nothing to do with Chen Yuan. In fact, Chen Yuan had even clarified in advance, telling everyone to choose cautiously. He had made his stance that clear back then. If they still insisted on buying, how could they blame him? Besides, this time, he was only targeting those unruly Annie fans and casual onlookers who would listen at 0.3 yuan per share, which meant 30 yuans for 100 shares. How many shares could Chen Yuan buy with his 120 million yuans? 4 million shares? Exactly. Chen Yuan was determined to jump from being an ordinary investor to a major shareholder in one go. Penglai Games had a total of 6 million outstanding shares. This meant that if Chen Yuan could invest all his money, he would definitely become the largest shareholder. As for whether the original shareholders would sell, they would 100. They were insiders who knew the truth. Penglai Games' former boss was now mired in a debt crisis, and the entire company was suffering the consequences. All shareholders were liable for the external debts, even though the stock price was extremely low. The outstanding debts amounted to 600 million yuan. Delisting was a foregone conclusion for Penglai Games. If someone was willing to acquire the company, they would also be taking on the debts, and the original shareholders would be overjoyed. And overjoyed they were, because someone was frantically buying up their shares. Dong Jianguo share had turned white overnight. Penglai Games was his life's work, and now it was on the brink of delisting and collapse. A 20-year-old gaming company, gone just like that. He felt unwilling, yet there was a hint of relief too. If he could go back in time and make the choice again, Dong Jianguo would never have gotten involved in the gaming industry. As for the current debt crisis, he could only take it one day at a time. Just as he sighed in despair, someone suddenly burst into his office, a look of delight on their face. Without even glancing at Dong Jianguo Smood, the man hurried to say, "Lao Dong, hurry and check, someone's frantically buying up our shares right now." Dong Jianguo froze, then shook his head and laughed. "Lao Li, are you dreaming? Our company is drowning in debt, with troubles both inside and out. Delisting and collapse are just days away. Who in their right mind would buy our shares now? Is there really such a fool in the world?" Lao Li slammed his hand on the desk, his excitement undiminished. There really is. Hurry up and list all your shares if you rate too late. Don't say I didn't warn you. Seeing that Lao Li didn't look like he was joking, Dong Jianguo opened his computer half-hearted lie. When he saw the screen, he froze for 2 seconds, then was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Someone really was buying up shares in bulk. If he could offload all his shares, he would also be rid of the corresponding debt, and the pressure of repayment would drop drastically. This was Aeon in a lifetime opportunity. Dong Jianguo didn't hesitate. He listed all his shares at once. He originally held 3.5 million shares and was truly the largest shareholder. In just 2 minutes, 1.5 million of his 3.5 million shares were snapped up, and the buying spree continued. A few minutes later, only 1 million shares remained. Dong Jianguo suddenly felt like the weather was perfect that day. He had sold 5/7 of his shares, which meant his debt was also reduced by 5/7. The 500 million yuan's debt was cut down to tens of millions. Repayment pressure that he could actually handle. Haha, great, great, great. Lao Li, standing beside him, chuckled and said, Lao Dong, our company has really been visited by a noble benefactor this time. Yes, a noble benefactor without a doubt. Ha ha ha. Dong Jianguo was in high spirits. Zhang San heard a notification sound while moving bricks. He pulled out his phone, and as smile spread across his face. He was free. He had really escaped the trap. He had originally been stuck with 100,000 yuans in frozen shares, and he'd even thought that money was lost forever. But now, he was free. Even though the stock price had plummeted, his original 100,000 yuans had shrunk to just 10,000 yuans. Still, getting out of the trap was a win. 10,000 yuan was better than losing everything. Many others who had been trapped also escaped, though their assets had shrunk by 90%. Even so, keeping a little was far better than losing it all. Chaos had erupted in Chen Yuan's live stream. Penglai Games, the stock god Yuan, told us not to buy seems to be changing. A mysterious person is buying up shares in bulk. I saw it too. Lots of people got out. Even the anti-fans in our live stream. Yeah, all Penglai Games stocks have been bought up now. Only one big order is left. Who dare touch such a toxic asset? I heard Penglai Games still has debts. I don't know if it's true, but if it is, whoever bought it is really stupid. Right? Who'd buy a stock like that? Only an idiot. Chen Yuan had indeed bought 4 million shares. In fact, he was now in control of Penglai Games. Step 1 completed. Issuing Step 2. Host, please complete online equity certification. Once certified, inform netizens to start hyping the stock. Chen Yuan was unsurprised by Step 2 at all. Equity certification was hand-led by specialized institutions. Once certified, he would officially become Penglai Games leader. Due to his age, Chen Yuan had to call the program team and ask them to provide a Guardian's letter. After obtaining Guardian certification, He began the online equity verification process. Everything went smoothly, but the live stream viewers had no idea what Chen Yuan was doing. It looks like God Yuan is applying for something. Yeah, I can see clearly. Could it be an online loan? No, it looks more location. Equity certification. I've seen this in live streams before. It's for verifying equity changes online. Did Gojuna Quackwam? I can't figure it out. Just can't. While completing the equity certification, Chen Yuan deliberately leaned slightly to expose the screen to the drone's camera, then quickly shifted back, as if he'd just realized his mistake. Whoa! I think I saw something just now, but not clearly enough. I saw it. It really is equity certification. I saw the characters Penglai. Could it be Penglai Games? No way! Was Enda listing a foregone conclusion for Penglai Games? Why would God Yuan buy that junk stock, let alone go through equity certification for it? It is Penglai Games. I saw their logo. Whoa! What is God Yuan planning with this move? Did Gojuan Realiquequequequequeque? It's obvious lie, a company about to delist. What on earth is God Yuan up to? Us mortals can't understand. Should we follow suit? After all, God Yuan has never failed before. I don't care what you guys do, I am following God Yuan to glory again. Don't move, everyone. That's not no est kid. Chen Yuan is just trying to trick us into the trap. Once we ray in, he'll escape scot-free and leave us holding the bag. I, Zhang San the outlaw, have the most right to speak. I'm a living example. I barely climbed out of that quagmire. Don't fall for it, everyone. Chen Yuan had completed the equity certification. From that moment on, he was Penglai Games' largest shareholder. However, Penglai Games was currently a debt-ridden company. If he didn't find a way to boost the stock price a little, it would be delisted the next day. He picked up his phone and looked at the live stream comments. God Yuan, explain yourself. God Yuan, why did you buy Penglai Games stock and go through equity certification? God Yuan, are you being threatened? If you were just blink. Chen Yuan looked a little uncomfortable and said, did you guys miss me? I was just playing a game earlier, nothing more. Impossible. We all saw it clearly. Yes. We saw it plain as day. You were doing Penglai Games equity certification. God Yuan, hurry up and tell us why you bought it. I still have over 1 million yuan in funds. I want to join you in this big move. Seeing that he couldn't hide it anymore, Chen Yuan sighed and said, all right. Fine, I'll talk, but right now, I'll only share this inside information with my die-hard fans. I'll set up a group and add people right away. As he spoke, he quickly created a group in the live stream and added 900 viewers with the highest account levels. Unfair. Why didn't I get into the small group? Yeah, that's not fair. I watch your live stream every day. Why exclude me? Chen Yuan ignored the comments. Once enough people had joined, he immediately set permissions to allow only the group owner himself to speak, then started sending messages. Hello everyone, this is Chen Yuan. I've added 900 people to this small group. You Ray all my die-hard fans. So now, I'll share an inside scoop with you. Penglai Games isn't as bad as you think. They have a core game in the works that's about to be released. That's why I bought their shares. If you want to follow suit, hurry up. If not, that's fine too. I'll disband this group soon, but I'll invite you again if there's another opportunity. After sending all the messages, Chen Yuan disbanded the group immediately. Were all 900 people really his die-hard fans? Hardly. He had added them, based solely on account level, not a comprehensive assessment, so some of them weren't true fans at all. Since not everyone was a die-hard fan, the information he had shared would inevitably leak out. That was exactly Chen Yuan's goal, to pretend the news had slipped out accidentally, triggering a frenzy of investors buying Penglai Games stock. The power of retail investors was enormous. Once Penglai Games stock became popular, the price would fluctuate slightly, delaying the delisting by a day or two, and those extra days were precisely what Chen Yuan needed. Chapter 31. The largest shareholder turns out to be a kid. As Chen Yuan had anticipated, the news about Penglai Games he had revealed still got leaked. Soon after, netizens who heard the news all flocked into the live stream room in a rush. In the live stream, Chen Yuan talked about all sorts of random topics, covering everything from north to south and east to west, but avoided mentioning the stock at all. The more he acted like this, the more suspicious people became. Everyone go to my account. I reposted a message from a small group. He also posted it on my video account. Everyone can check it out. This time I Zhang San the Bold won't be tricked again. You all shouldn't believe it either. This is Chen Yuan's scheme. He definitely wants to swindle your money this time. That kid is extremely cunning. Brother Zhang San is right. Everyone, don't be fooled. Just let Penglai Games delist and make Chen Yuan lose all his money. Stockholders are like a pile of loose sand. To gather this loose sand, all you need is a big enough plate, a metaphor referring to a sufficient scale of business or investment platform, and sufficient profits. Penglai Technology had a large enough plate, and the news released by Chen Yuan was the profit. Driven by profits, many people believed Chen Yuan's words. A large number of stockholders targeted their spare money at Penglai Games stocks. It was until most of them came to their senses that they realized they could buy any stocks at all now. Dong Jiangguo was completely dumbfounded. He had heard an unsubstantiated piece of gossip. His company, which was on the verge of collapse, was actually planning to develop a groundbreaking game. Wasn't this pure nonsense? He knew better than anyone else what his own company was like. Bankruptcy was just a matter of time. He had no idea where this gossip had come from. While he was still investigating the source of the news, he noticed something abnormal in the stock market. Trading of Penglai Games stocks had suddenly boomed. Lao Li rushed in again. Lao Dong, we're saved. Somehow, someone spread a very authoritative piece of gossip saying we Ray going to launch a ground breaking game. Stockholders have started snatching up our stocks like crazy. Lao Li panted heavily, but the smile on his face never faded. We don't even have a game in development, let alone a groundbreaking one. Hurry up and sell all the stocks we have in hand. That way, we can completely get out of this mess. Dong Jiangguo immediately turned on his computer and quickly located his shares, but he hesitated. It was because of any so-called sentiment. Over the years, his game company had put him through so much trouble, there was no way he still had any sentimental attachment to it. The reason he froze was that everything that had happened that day felt extremely abnormal. First, someone started buying up shares, and then rumors were spread. Leaving other things aside, by now, his name had dropped to the second place in the shareholding change records, and the person in first place was someone named Chen Yuan. Could it be that Chen Yuan was using this method to acquire his company? Didn't they know that Penglai Games was already on the brink of collapse? That couldn't be. The announcement had stated it so clearly. Then why was this happening? He's playing a long game. A metaphor meaning someone is making a well-thought-out, long-term plan for no apparent reason. This thought popped into Dong Jiangguo's mind. No one would rush to authenticate their ownership when buying a large number of shares in this way unless they had a real agenda. He should wait a little longer. What if there really was a chance to turn things around? Maybe Chen Yuan could bring Penglai Games back from the dead. Or maybe Chen Yuan just wanted to cut the leak, say. Chinese internet slang referring to exploiting unsuspecting investors for profits. No matter which one it was, it would be far better than making a humiliating exit right now. He decided to wait a bit more. Lao Li, looking quite anxious, said, Lao Dong, this opportunity is rare. Hurry up and sell. If you delay, something might go wrong. Dong Jiangguo turned to him and smiled. No rush, no rush. Lao Li was stunned for a moment, then said, No rush? This is such a great chance to get out. Lao Dong. Dong Jiangguo waved his hand, looking at Lao Li with a smile. I've run Penglai Games for 20 years, and I've struggled and fought my way through for 20 years. I really can train myself to walk away just like that. Lao Li, you know me, I went dive up until the very last minute. Besides, I only have 1 million shares in hand now. The compensation amount based on this ratio is within what I can afford. I think I want to take a gamble. Lao Li's lips moved, but in the end, he only let out a sigh. All right then, I still have 100,000 shares. I'll stay with you. Driven by the influx of stockholders, the stock price of O3 finally rose by 1 percentage point. Don't underestimate this 1 percentage point for a stock that was almost dead, referring to a stock with extremely poor performance and almost no market activity. This 1 percentage point rebound was like a pulse, proving it was still alive. Seeing the upward trend, the stockholders became even more enthusiastic, pulling Penglai Games back from the edge of death to a state of lingering on, meaning barely surviving, was by no means an easy task. Although the stock price had seen a a slight temporary increase. The huge financial gap at Penglai Games still existed, so this state of lingering on wouldn't last long. Chen Yuan had completed his second step. Second step completed. Third step. Launch the new game and take the world by storm. Within 3 days. Please act as soon as possible, host. The third step was also the most crucial one. Now, Chen Yuan had to launch the new game within 3 days. Only by doing so could he turn the tide when the situation is desperate, a Chinese idiom, meaning reversing a critical and unfavorable situation, and save the company from collapse. If he failed, the super plan would fall through, and 100 million yuans in funds would be lost. What's more, he might even end up taking on the company's debts himself. Chen Yuan understood the stakes. His first move now was naturally to go to Penglai Games headquarters to confirm his authority, and the game development resources also needed to be put on track immediately. Fortunately, the resources Chen Yuan had obtained for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds PUBG were complete. He just needed to follow the secure procedures to access the internal server. He didn't waste any time. After Penglai Games' stock price changed, Chen Yuan immediately grabbed his phone and went out. As soon as he opened the door, he read the game hard drive in the safe. So Chen Yuan hurried to the safe, entered the password, opened it, put the hard drive in, and then rushed out in a hurry. Dong Jiangguo received a strange phone call. This is Chen Yuan. I'm on my way to Penglai Games headquarters right now. That was all he said before hanging up in a hurry. Dong Jiangguo thought for a few seconds. The name sounded familiar, but he couldn't recall where he had heard it. Suddenly, it hit him. He thought of the shareholding changes. That day, it seemed the new largest shareholder was Chen Yuan. So the largest shareholder was coming to the company? Dong Jiangguo perked up. He wanted to meet this largest shareholder and see what kind of person he was. Laoli, Chen Yuan is coming soon. Go and inform everyone below. Chen Yuan? Which Chen Yuan? Dong Jiangguo smiled. Our largest shareholder. Laoli immediately understood. Chen Yuan took a taxi and spent 45 yuans. Chinese currency. 1 Chinese yuan is approximately 14 US dollars as of 2024 to reach the office building where Penglai Games was located. This office building was quite old, and its decoration looked rather shabby. If it weren't for the Penglai Games logos on the 3rd and 4th floors, he would have definitely thought he had come to the wrong place. Wasn't this a listed company? How could it be doing so badly? Chen Yuan shook his head and then walked into the office building. Although the building was shabby, the interior decoration was decent. The office building had 7 floors in total. He didn't know which companies were on the 1st and 2nd floors. The 3rd and 4th floors belonged to Penglai Games. As for the other floors, Chen Yuan had no interest in finding out. The elevator only went up to the 3rd floor. To get to the 4th floor, you had to take the stairs from the 3rd floor. It was considered an internal passage. When the elevator door opened, Chen Yuan saw 6 people standing outside. Two of them were older, probably in their 40s, while the others were all young, people in their 20s or 30s. These young people looked listless and absent-minded. When Chen Yuan stepped out of the elevator, the 6 people opposite him all stared at him in unison. A beautiful woman in her 20s with a graceful figure and a pretty face tilted her chin and said lazily, "Little brother, this isn't a place for playing. Hurry up and leave." Chen Yuan looked at the group with asmal and said, "I'm not here to play. I'm here for business." A young man with messy hair, literally bird's nest hair, a Chinese colloquial term describing unkempt hair, yawned and said, "What kind of business could you possibly have here? Hurry up and go. We don't entertain kids here." Chen Yuan didn't waste any more words. He directly took out his phone and pulled up the electronic version of the share certificate. "My name is Chen Yuan." He held out his hand, showing the electronic share certificate to the group. Instantly, the expressions of the others turned strange. Who would have thought the one who had bought up the shares was actually a kid? Who could have imagined this? Dong Jianguo suddenly felt a twinge of regret. It seemed this matter was unreliable after all. He thought to himself, if only he had sold all his shares back then. Dong Jianguo. When he heard his name being called, Dong Jianguo snapped back to his senses. "Oh, Chen Yuan, Mr. Chen. Hello, hello." Dong Jianguo held out his hand and shook Chen Yuan's hand, which still looked young and immature. After all, he had been in the business world for a long time and had some composure. After shaking hands with Dong Jianguo, Chen Yuan didn't act like a 14-year-old teenager at all. Instead, he got straight to the point and said, "How many employees does the company have? Gather all of them. In need to hold a meeting." Dong Jianguo coughed and said, "This is all of them." Chen Yuan almost spat out blood. Wasn't this a listed company? How could there only be 6 people? What was going on here? Dong Jianguo explained awkwardly, "The company is in a financial crisis. To cut costs and reduce expenses, most of the employees are on leave." That was a nice way of putting it. In reality, it was probably because the company couldn't even pay salaries, or it had originally planned to dissolve, hence why there were only these few people left. Chen Yuan let out a chuckle. Well, at least not everyone is on leave. Hearing this, Dong Jianguo's face turned even redder. Chen Yuan looked directly at the group and said, "Let's go to the meeting room to talk." Dong Jianguo quickly led Chen Yuan to the meeting room. The meeting room was on the 2nd floor they had mentioned earlier, which was actually the 4th floor of the office building. The space was quite spacious, and it was equipped with all necessary facilities like a projector. It was obvious that when it was first designed, it was built to accommodate more than 20 people. Chen Yuan sat in the main seat and glanced around the room. In a concise and straightforward manner, he said, "My name is Chen Yuan, and I will be the actual controller of the company. From now on, let's all introduce yourselves." After speaking, his gaze fell on Dong Jianguo. It was clear he wanted to start with Dong Jianguo, the 2nd largest shareholder. Dong Jiangguo coughed. My name is Dong Jiangguo. The former chairman, another middle-aged man, said. My name is Li Baolai. I am the director of the administration department and the finance department. Chen Yuan turned his gaze to the sum. What lazy-looking beauty, she said. My name is Yu Yu, and I'm in charge of the marketing department. After speaking, she even raised her eyebrows at Chen Yuan. Chapter 32 Shocked. This game is effing awesome. Chen Yuan's gaze fell on the unkempt young man with messy bird's nest hair, a Chinese colloquial term for unruly, tangled hair. The young man stretched lazily. Me, Li Changji in tech department, he said, then yawned and patted his mouth. The tech department is the core of a game company, responsible for both game development and technical operations. A seemingly steady young man spoke up next. Zhaoliang planning department, finally. An elegant long-haired woman said in a soft voice. I'm Guan Fenji from customer service. Chen Yuan smiled. Not bad on Epperson left a frack. After speaking, his eyes turned to Dong Jiangguo. Dong Jiangguo forced an awkward laugh and didn't dare to reply. Suddenly, Chen Yuan's expression hardened. He scanned the room and said, word by word, I don't care what you did before, but from the moment you stepped into this company, you must prioritize the company's interests. And from the moment I became the largest shareholder, you must follow my plans to the letter. If anyone wants to leave it at me like this, go ahead. I won't stop you. Chen Yuan narrowed his eyes and looked directly at Dong Jiangguo. That includes you. Dong Jiangguo was caught off guard. He's so young, but he sure has a sharp edge. Is there anyone leaving? Go now. Dong Jiangguo will settle your wages right away. No one moved, unsure of Chen Yuan's background. Everyone looked uneasy. Yu's lazy demeanor faded slightly, while Li Changjian, still messy haired, reached up to smooth his hair. No one's leaving? Good. Chen Yuan's tone softened as he looked at them. You're all veteran employees. You might not have achieved much, but you all have experience. Right now, game industry jobs are hard to come by. I hope all of you here will work with me sincerely. Might not have achieved much, but have experienced the group. As faces flushed with embarrassment. You don't need to blame yourselves. This is the current state of the game industry. Chen Yuan tapped his fingers on the table, eyes narrowing. I, Chen Yuan, have always lived by one rule. Either don't do it or do it perfectly. I have a game I developed myself. I want it to be our first big hit and to shake up the global game industry. Chen Yuan stopped tapping the table. Starting now, your salaries are doubled. There will be monthly performance reviews, and anyone who excels will get a bonus no less than their monthly salary. The slump in the game industry had left their salaries barely scraping the bottom of the social pay scale. Chen Yuan's swords perked everyone up instantly. Dong Jiangguo secretly admired him. This stick and carrot tactic, a strategy of combining threats, pressure with rewards, was being wielded masterfully by a teenager. Having laid out the big picture and metaphor for Pafrings, Chen Yuan was ready to reveal his trump card. Who has a high-performance laptop? Bring it here. Li Changjian stood up immediately. I do, I'll get it right away. 3 minutes later, Li Changjian returned with a laptop. Chen Yuan gestured for him to place it on the conference table. He took out the hard drive and plugged it in, then began to demonstrate his computer skills. Li Changjian, watching from the side, saw Chen Yuan's fingers fly across the keyboard, generating streams of code, and realized this young chairman was extremely proficient with computers. Soon Chen Yuan finished copying the game's executable files from the hard drive and pulled the drive out, pointing at the laptop without a trace of hesitation. He said, "This is the shooter game I developed, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG. Li Changjian showed it to everyone. The group crowded around, eager to see what kind of game their young chairman had brought. Li Changjian clicked on the PUBG icon. Immediately, stunning visuals appeared on the screen. Following the system prompts, he opened the battle interface, and with Chen Yuan's guidance, entered a code spawning 99 AI-controlled players. Li Changjian took control of his starting character and joined the battle royale against the 99 bots. Grab the gear, the backpack. Grab the backpack. Dude, have you even played a game before? Why aren't you picking up the pan? It's a god-tier weapon. The 98,000. Grab the 98K. Bang! Li Changjian's character was taken down by an AI. The screen switched to Agate. SI view and overhead perspective. Your skills are trash, Chen Yuan muttered. Then read he was in a meeting and stopped. The others, however, were frozen in place, staring at the screen in shock. They swore they had never seen a game so stunning and thrilling. It was definitely a masterpiece. The first-person perspective in particular boosted immersion and the satisfying rush of getting a kill. The massive map was so big that anyone who didn't check the mini-map would get lost. For sure, the cleverly designed shrinking play zone, a core mechanic of battle royale games where the safe area shrinks over time and diverse game play had them hooked instantly. Wow, even just watching it is awesome, let alone playing it. Everyone was eager to try. Yu licked her lips seductively, stepped closer to Chen Yuan, and purred softly. Boss, can I have a turn? A turn? Chen Yuan pulled himself together. Nice. Try with the charm, but it won't work. No, everyone get back to your seats now. The group straightened up immediately and returned to their places. Chen Yuan turned the laptop screen to face everyone. Pointing at Li Changjian, he said, Li Changjian, tell us what you think of this game. The graphics are incredible. The immersion is off the charts, and as a tech specialist and die-hard gamer, Li Changjian's words were nothing but praise. Finally, he clenched his fist and summed up. Once this game hits the market with online multiplayer, plus a rich achievement system, weapon library, and character skins, it'll definitely cause a sensation. It'll ignite the passion of every gamer out there, whether it would ignite others' passion or not. Li Changjian himself was already fired up. The rest of the group's minds were racing too. Why? Had they lacked motivation before? because they had no hope. To put it bluntly, they just been going through the motions at work to collect a paycheck. A future? The game industry in this world was bleak and hopeless, but this game could pierce through that darkness and bring light to the entire industry. This was their hope. It had rekindled their passion. They could already imagine being part of the team behind such an outstanding game would make their resumes shine. Suddenly, everyone was brimming with energy, eager to dive in and get to work. Even Dong Jiangguo felt like he was seeing a glimmer of hope. He'd struggled for decades, groping his way through the dark, enduring countless hardships. But now he saw hope. Hope for the company to rise. No hope for the entire game industry to rise. He was grateful he hadn't rushed to sell his shares a few hours earlier. If he had, he would have missed out on this historic opportunity to rise and regretted it for the rest of his life.